Hey everybody, welcome to today's Daily Dose of Awesome. My name is Vitaly Grinblatt, and I was having a really hard time getting on. Let's see, hopefully, let me see if we're live. It says we're live, but I'm not sure if we are or if we aren't. Because I tried multiple times and it wouldn't let me get on, so if you guys, if anybody's live, let me know let's see, Okay, looks like we are getting people live. All right, this worked. I had to go live from my phone. Hey guys, all right, I apologize about that. I tried like 5 or 6 times and it wouldn't let me get on. Facebook is having some kind of issues with me. So anyway, welcome to today's Daily Dose of Awesome. Today we're going to talk about how to sell and recruit with email. So the question that I have for you is, would you like to sign up new customers and enroll new teammates with a few keyboard strokes? Okay, if that idea appeals to you, then you're going to want to learn how to use email to promote your business, and specifically how to use what I call the X factor, the one key differentiator that's going to set you miles or kilometers apart from everybody else. And that's what we're going to dive into today. So let me just check on the desktop to see who's live, because I can't really see everything on my phone, but I just want to make sure that everything's going. I do see we have some people live. All right, cool. Hey guys, feel free to comment. So hopefully I'll be able to see your comments here. All right, Tom, Samara, how are you doing? Okay, great. So we are getting people live. Whew. All right, tech issues. It happens. Weird thing, by the way, happened before we get into our topic. Last week, I was not able to get into this community at all. Like for a few days, Facebook would not allow me to even get into Elite Marketing Pro community for whatever reason. And then suddenly I was able to get in. So I don't know if there's some kind of a technical glitch with my account, but apparently it won't let me do a live from my desktop. So just one of these things we'll have to address. All right, so without any further ado, I apologize for the delay. Let's get into the content. So how to write or how to recruit and sell with email. And specifically, I want to talk to you guys about the one key differentiator that can set you miles apart from your competition. So, I've been writing emails for 10 years now. And for the last 8 out of those 10 years, I've been writing them very intentionally. I've been doing something inside of my emails that is different than what I see a lot of other people do. Some people do it, but a lot of people don't do this. So this is what I'm going to talk to you about today is this one key differentiator. And the one thing that I started implementing a few years back that I think makes all the difference, certainly makes a big difference. All right. So if you think about your business, right, and you want to attract people into your business, what is the thing that makes people want to join or buy, right? What is it? And I'm going to try to check out the comments and see what we have going on here. If you always want to comment hopefully I can see them live. If you guys want to comment into the comment box there, what do you think is the one thing that you need to have in order for people to join you in your business and join your team and buy from you? What is the one thing? I know we might be having some delays, so well, anyway, I'm going to tell you what it is before we. Jenny says, "Glad you got in." Yes, I did. All right. So the one thing that you need to have is you need to have trust, right? People need to trust you. People need to know that you're for real. Like, think about this. Like, when you're making a decision to buy something, you want to know if the person is for real, right? You want to know if this is a real, genuine person. Okay, Samara says a compelling offer. Yes, you have to have a compelling offer. But first and foremost, you got to have trust. People have to like you. People have to trust you. This is the X factor. It's called KLT, know, like, and trust, right? When you know somebody is genuine, then there is a much higher likelihood of you buying from this person or joining this person's team, okay? So when you send out emails, and email is really, it's an interesting medium because email allows you to create that rapport and to create that know, like, and trust, like unlike anything else, because it's an ongoing process of you communicating daily with your list, with your tribe, and with these daily communications, you can set yourself apart by getting your prospects, your list, to know who you are and get them to like you and trust you. And that is the prerequisite to really anything else, because yes, you could have a compelling offer. Yes, you can have a lot of different things in place, but without know, like, and trust, it's going to be very difficult for you to get people to spend money with you and join your business. Okay? So how do you do this, right? How do you develop this know, like, and trust? Because let's face it, if you're promoting Elite Marketing Pro, you got a great product, right? If you're promoting Attraction Marketing Formula, you got a great product full of benefits, okay? And you can certainly infuse your emails with benefits and have that compelling offer in there. But what's going to make you different, what's going to make your emails different, is when your prospects get to know who you are, right? And when they get to know who you are, that trust and that rapport is going to start building. So I want to talk to you about how to do this, how to effectively do this in your emails. Now, keep it also in mind that people are primarily interested in what's in it for them. So you do have to talk about them. You do have to talk about, even when you talk about yourself, you do have to come across in a way that lets them know that there's something in it for them. However, when you reveal a little bit of yourself, when you talk a little bit about yourself, what happens is people start to know a little bit about who you are. So, for example, let's say you start your email and you talk about your family, okay? Well, I'll give you an example of me, right? I have three kids, three girls, 1 16, two 8-year-old twins, they're almost 9. I have a dog. So just by me mentioning that, if I spend a couple minutes talking about my family, you will feel, even if you've never met me, you will feel like, oh, I know a little bit about this guy now, right? And that adds a human element to marketing. And this is something that's desperately missing. See, when you sell face-to-face, when you sit down with people with face-to-face, recruit them or do your sales presentation, then at least, they know who you are because they can see you, you're there physically present. But when it's through a computer monitor, people do not know you, right? So when you reveal a little bit about yourself, when you talk about your family, what happens is you open up and people start feeling like, oh, I know who this person is, okay? And that's the first step. Because when you know somebody, when you feel like you know somebody even a little bit, that starts developing trust, okay? And I'm just checking out my comments here. So what do you do in your emails? Like, how do you create that? Well, you start giving them, this is very simple to do, and yet most people don't do this. But what you want to do is, every time you send out an email, see if you can incorporate a little slice of your life. So for example, talk about your family. Like I just gave you an example with, like, I have 3 kids, right? You can talk about your kids. You can talk about something that happens in their school. Okay, you can talk about pets if you have dogs or cats. Like I have a dog. You can talk about your dog. You can talk about your cat. You can talk about other pets. Okay, you can talk about your work if you have a full-time job, or maybe you can talk about your work, something that was going on in your work in the past, right? You can share a little story. You can talk about travel. Maybe you took a recent trip. You can talk about a trip you took. Maybe you were in one of our workshops in Denver or somewhere else, and you can talk about your airline, your flight, and what happened on that flight. Okay, again, by sharing little bits and pieces out of your life, what happens is you're letting people in to your world, and they feel like they're starting to know who you are. Okay, you can talk about your failures and your successes, but specifically your failures. Like if you had some failures in the past, and let's face it, like who hasn't had failures in the past, right? We've all had. For me, I can talk about a business that I started when I was 17 years old. I can talk about the fact that I started in direct sales when I was 19, and it took me a year to recruit my first person. I can talk about that it took me 3.5 years to go full-time in this business. And it took me another 3 years before I started making $50,000 a year. Now, I'm not going to put all that in one single email, of course, but all these things have a story in them, and I can take out these bits and pieces and I can talk about any one of these things in an email and then connect to a product. Again, by revealing a little bit about myself, people feel like they know me, right? So you can talk about things that you have in common. Hopefully you have some things in common with your prospects, like for example, the fact that you're in this business, right? The fact that maybe you want to be free, you want to get out of a job, you want to provide more for your family, right? You have an entrepreneurial mindset and you want to be your own boss. These kinds of things that you have in common with your prospects immediately creates that bond, right? If you have something in common, it creates a bond and builds further rapport and develops more trust between you and the person, okay? And that's what emails allow you to do if you share these kinds of things. Another thing you can do is you can talk about unique things that have happened to you. Maybe some shocking or unique experiences or bizarre things that have happened to you. They could be funny, they could be dramatic, they could be I mean, they could be anything you want, right? You get the creative freedom to write about anything you want that you think will further your relationship with your list, okay? Like I said, it could be unusual things. People like unusual stories or unusual things. And if you think your life is boring, I'm going to challenge you that your life is not boring. You have things that have happened to you in your past, maybe recently, maybe way in your past, maybe you're going to have to dig them up from your past, that you can use in your emails and establish that trust further. So I'll give you an example. I was just in preparing for this today. I remember the story. So years ago, when we got married, we went on our honeymoon to Europe. And I had relatives at the time who lived in Amsterdam. And so we stayed for one day in Amsterdam, and then we flew to Greece after that. And so our first day when we got to Amsterdam, my relatives, this is like the day after this is our first day of our honeymoon, and first day after we got married, my relatives took us to just around the city, and they took us to the red light district. This was a long time ago, okay? And when we were at the red light district, I had this camera on me, true story, okay? I had this camera on me. This is like 1998. There were no phone cameras or anything like that. So I had this big tourist camera on me. And my uncle, he says, he says, make sure you keep that camera to the side, because these girls, they don't like to be photographed. Like, you can go around, you can look at all that stuff, but you can don't take pictures. I'm like, I'm not going to take pictures. But immediately as he said that, one of them came out and she started yelling at me like, you got to take your camera off and all of that. And so it was really funny. Anyway, this was a long time ago. I completely forgot about this until a few years ago when I wrote an email about it, because it was a funny story, okay? And I honestly don't remember what I did, how I connected it to a product, but it was an unusual experience. And the subject line was something like getting chased by, or at least that was the hook, getting chased by a red light district hooker the day after our wedding, or the first day of our honeymoon, something like that. That's an unusual story. That's a funny thing, okay? And I told the story in the email, and I cannot remember exactly how I connected it, but there's so many different ways you can connect this to a product. You can talk about this unusual experience. You can talk about the fact that you draw attention to yourself, and you can say, you can talk about the fact that you need to get attention in an ad in order to get prospects to read your ad. So there are many different ways you can connect this. But this is just an example out of something that happened to me, and I guarantee you may have not been chased by a hooker in a red light district the day after your wedding, but you probably have some unusual stories or experiences in your past that if you put your mind to it, you can use in your emails. And what that does, once again, is it lets your audience know that you're real, that you're human, and it makes that connection, okay? You can talk about vulnerable things that you're vulnerable about. And lastly, if you sitting there and you're trying to figure out what can I write about, and just nothing comes to mind, I'll give you a little shortcut, okay? You could give your perspective on something. So go pull out a book, like maybe Think and Grow Rich, or How to Win Friends and Influence People, or just, any popular book in our space, and then give your opinion on it. Okay, give your perspective. Take something, a chapter out of their principle, and give your opinion on it. And what that will do is, just by you giving your perspective or your opinion, that makes your email more interesting, because people want to know what you believe, right? What you think about. That's how that's the human element of marketing, is when you give your perspective on something, you reveal a little bit about yourself and your thought process, and that makes your email is a lot more interesting to read. And so everything that I just went over, your family, your kids, your pets, your life experiences, school, work, unusual things that have happened in the past, your perspective on something, all of these things can be incorporated into your email. You do that and watch what happens as people start becoming a lot more engaged with your emails. They'll be a lot more interested in reading your stuff. And as a result, you'll be able to sign up and enroll a lot more people, because that's just what happens when you open up and you develop rapport and connection with people. All right? So with that, guys, I want to thank you. I apologize once again for the technical issues we had first few times that I tried to go live. And I look forward to coming back and sharing some more stuff with you on the future installments of the Daily Dose of Awesome. All right, everybody, take care. See you next time.